Here's the truth. Your life would be completely different if you could read people clearly. Think about it. How many times have you trusted the wrong person? How many times have you ignored your gut and paid the price later? How many times have you thought, I should have seen it coming? You keep listening to people's words. You keep giving benefit of the doubt. You keep hoping they mean what they say, but their actions told you the truth from the beginning. Their patterns were speaking. You just didn't know how to read them. Reading people like a book is not some magic trick. It's a skill, a discipline, a way of paying attention. When you learn it, you make better decisions. You choose better friends. You avoid toxic people faster. You become stronger in business, in work, in love, in life. If you ignore it, you stay blind. You get played. You get used. You keep repeating the same painful lessons. This session is a wake-up call. You will learn how to see what's really there. You will learn how to stop being fooled by words and start trusting patterns. Most people will never do this work, but you are not most people. You're here because you're ready to see clearly. Chapter 1. Accept that people are always telling you who they are. You are not walking through a silent world. People are speaking all the time, even when they say nothing. Their posture speaks. Their reactions speak. Their habits speak. Their energy speaks. The problem is not that people are hiding everything. The problem is that you are not trained to see. Most people only notice what is loud and obvious: a big smile, a kind word, an apology, a promise. They ignore the small things, the hesitation, the eye roll, the way someone speaks to a waiter, the way they treat people who cannot give them anything. Here's the hard truth. People are always showing you who they are. You just don't want to believe it. Why? Because believing it has a cost. If you accept what their actions say, you might have to walk away, say no, set a boundary, disappoint someone, be alone for a while. And that feels scary. So you lie to yourself. You tell yourself, they didn't mean it. They were just tired. They will change. This is where everything starts to go wrong. Reading people like a book begins with one decision. You decide to believe behavior. Not excuses, not potential, not fantasy. Behavior. From today, you train yourself to think differently. When you meet someone new, you ask, how are they treating people right now? Do their words match their actions? What do their patterns say? You stop asking, what do they promise? You start asking, what do they consistently do? Most people look at people like a single picture. One moment, one conversation, one impression. You must start seeing people like a whole book. Many pages, many chapters, many small details. This requires patience. You cannot read someone fully in 5 minutes. You observe. You listen. You notice over time. Practical steps to start. 1. Slow down your judgment. When you meet someone new, don't label them instantly as amazing or terrible. Just observe. Tell yourself, I don't know them yet. I'm still reading page 1. 2. Watch them in different settings. Notice them in stress, in comfort, around authority, around people below them. A real pattern appears across different situations. 3. Write down what you see. Once a week, think of the important people in your life. For each one, ask, how are they treating me? How are they treating others? What do they do when they are uncomfortable? Be honest, no sugarcoating. When you do this, you will start to see clearly. You will notice who respects you and who only uses you. You will notice who has self-control and who lives by impulse. And something powerful will happen. You will stop being surprised by people. You will stop saying, "I never saw it coming," because now you are reading the book, not just staring at the cover. Most people are blind on purpose. They don't want to see the truth. You are different. You are choosing to see what is really there. Chapter 2. Stop believing words, start trusting actions. Words are cheap. They cost nothing. Anyone can say, "I care." Anyone can say, "I'm sorry." Anyone can say, "Trust me." This is why so many people get hurt. They build their life on promises, not patterns. Here's the truth. If you want to read people like a book, you must treat actions like the main text and words like footnotes. Most people do the opposite. They treat words like the story and actions like small details. Someone lies, but says, "I didn't mean to." Someone disrespects you, then says, "I love you." Someone lets you down, then says, "You're important to me." And you choose to believe the words instead of the evidence. Ask yourself this: if there was no sound and you had to judge this person only by what they do, what would you see? That answer is the truth. People can talk with their mouth and say anything, but they talk with their time, their attention, their effort, their sacrifices. That language never lies. If a person always has time to scroll but never has time to answer your message, that is a statement. If a person always finds money for their pleasures but never for their responsibilities, that is a statement. If a person always promises change but never changes, that is a statement. You don't need to be angry about it. You just need to read it correctly. Practical ways to trust actions more than words. 1. Create a simple rule for yourself. I only believe patterns. Not single moments, not emotional speeches. Patterns. Ask, has this person done this more than once? More than twice? 2. Match every big word with real behavior. When someone says, "I'm sorry," ask, do they change what caused the problem? When someone says, "You matter to me," ask, do they show respect consistently? When someone says, "I'll be there," ask, have they been reliable before? 3. Stop explaining away the evidence. Your brain loves to protect your feelings. It will invent stories. They forgot. They're just busy. I'm being too sensitive. Sometimes that is true, but often it's just a way to avoid the pain of reality. If the same thing keeps happening, the story you tell yourself is wrong. The pattern is the truth. Reading people like a book is not being negative. It's being honest. It's allowing reality to be what it is, instead of what you wish it was. When you start to trust actions, your decisions change. You stop giving endless chances to people who do not earn them. You stop trying to fix people who do not fix their own behavior. You stop opening your heart and your life to walking contradictions. Most people never reach this level. They are addicted to nice words. They are hungry for validation. They ignore the price they pay later. You are not most people. From now on, when someone speaks, you listen. But when they act, you decide. Chapter 3. Watch emotion, not just logic. People like to think they are logical. They like to believe they make decisions with clear thinking and solid reasons. But most of the time, emotion is in control. Fear, insecurity, anger, pride, jealousy, shame, excitement, these forces are behind so many actions. If you want to read people like a book, you must learn to see the emotional story under the surface. Most people miss this. They only listen to the explanation. I did that because. I had no choice. It just happened. They ignore the emotional energy behind it, the tension in the face, the tight jaw, the forced laugh, the quick change of topic, the discomfort in the body. Emotion leaks through body language, tone of voice, and small reactions. It is very hard to fake for long. Here is the key. When words and emotion disagree, believe the emotion. If someone says they're fine, but their voice is flat, their eyes are cold, their body is closed, they are not fine. If someone says they're not angry, but they slam doors, give short answers, avoid eye contact, they are angry. If someone says, "I'm happy for you," but there is a slight smirk, a little tension, a tiny insult hidden in the compliment, they are not happy for you. This doesn't mean you attack them. It means you read them correctly. Why is this important? Because emotion drives behavior, not logic. If someone carries a lot of unhealed anger, that anger will come out. If someone has deep insecurity, it will guide how they treat you. If someone is driven by ego, they will choose themselves over you when it matters. Pay attention to what makes them unusually defensive. When do they react too strongly for the situation? That area is sensitive. It reveals fear, shame, or insecurity. What they cannot joke about. Some topics are not funny for them because they are painful. That shows you their wounds. When they light up, what excites them? What pulls their energy up? That shows you their values. Practical exercises. 1. In every conversation, notice tone, not just words. Is it warm, cold, sharp, flat, playful, tense? Tone tells you more about how they feel than their words do. Notice changes. You do not need to be a body language expert. Just notice. They were relaxed, then suddenly stiff. They were open, then suddenly distant. They were talkative, then suddenly quiet. Ask yourself silently, what triggered this shift? Listen beneath complaints. When people complain, there is often a deeper emotion under it. No one listens to me may hide, I feel invisible. Everyone is against me may hide, I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I don't need anyone may hide, I'm afraid to be hurt again. The goal is not to judge them. The goal is to understand them. When you see people's emotional patterns, you can predict their behavior better. You can see where they might break, where they might betray, where they might run, where they might grow. Most people never look this deep. They stay at the surface. They believe whatever is said in one sentence. You are different. You train yourself to notice the emotion that is not spoken, but is always present. Chapter 4. Observe without judging or projecting. Reading people like a book does not mean attacking them. It does not mean labeling everyone as good or bad. It does not mean playing a fake detective all day. It means you observe clearly, without rushing, without projecting your own issues onto them. Most people don't actually observe others. They react. They take everything personally. They see what they want to see or what they are afraid to see. If you have been betrayed, you may see danger in everyone. If you are lonely, you may see the one in anyone who gives you attention. If you have low self-esteem, you may see rejection where there is none. This is not reading people. This is reading your own pain. To read people like a book, you must separate your story from their behavior. Here's how. 1. Admit your biases. You have them. Everyone does. You might trust certain personalities too fast. You might distrust others too fast. Be honest. I tend to ignore red flags when I'm attracted. Or, I tend to assume the worst because of my past. When you confess this to yourself, you weaken its power. 2. Use neutral language in your mind. Instead of saying, they're a liar, say, they lied in this situation. Instead of saying they're selfish, say, they chose themselves over me in this situation. This keeps your mind calm. Calm minds observe better. 3. Delay final judgment. You don't need to decide everything about a person in one day. You can say, I don't fully know them yet. I'm still watching.
Give yourself permission to stay curious. Observation is a skill. You practice it like a muscle. When you are with someone, you simply notice how they speak, how they listen, how they react to disagreement, how they talk about people not in the room, how they deal with small frustrations. You don't need to comment on everything. You don't need to confront every little thing. You just register it. You add it to the book you are reading. Another important point: do not romanticize people. Do not put them on a pedestal. When you see someone as perfect, you cannot see them as real. You will ignore obvious signs because you do not want your fantasy broken. You must allow people to be human, flawed, inconsistent sometimes, growing or not growing. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is to see them accurately and then decide your level of access, trust, and involvement. Practical exercise. For 1 week, in your interactions, focus only on noticing, not reacting. After each important interaction, take 1 minute and ask, what did I see? What did I feel around them? Did their words, actions, and energy align? Do this without judgment, just like a scientist records data. Most people throw away this data, then they are surprised later. You will not. You are training yourself to watch people carefully without needing to attack them or defend them. Just watch. Just read. That is the power.
Chapter 5. Trust Patterns Over Time. The Real Story. One of the biggest mistakes people make is this: they overvalue moments and undervalue patterns. Someone has one good week and they think they've changed. Someone has one bad day and they think they're terrible. Both are wrong. People are not one day. They are not one apology. They are not one gift, one compliment, one outburst. They are their patterns. If you want to read people like a book, you must be patient enough to notice the long story, not just the latest chapter. Ask yourself, what do they do repeatedly? What do they avoid repeatedly? What do they always return to? If a person disappears every time you need them, that is a pattern. If a person gets angry whenever they are questioned, that is a pattern. If a person never takes responsibility but always blames others, that is a pattern. And patterns predict the future. If someone has lied 10 times and tells you, "I've changed, trust me," the pattern says more lies are coming. If someone consistently shows up, supports you, respects you, even in small things, the pattern says this person is reliable. Here's the key: do not let one emotional high or low blind you to the pattern. A person with a bad pattern can still do good things sometimes. They can still be kind, bring gifts, say sweet words. That doesn't remove their pattern. A person with a good pattern can still fail sometimes. They can still be tired, stressed, impatient. That doesn't erase their pattern. Your job is to zoom out, see the whole. Practical steps. 1. Create a pattern list for the key people in your life. For each person, write, in the last 6 months or year, how have they treated me overall? Do they keep their word more often than they break it? Do they respect my boundaries most of the time? Do this for friends, family, romantic partners, co-workers, or bosses. Look at the big picture. 2. Give more weight to long-term behavior. If someone has shown you selfishness for years, don't risk your life on 1 week of kindness. If someone has shown you loyalty for years, don't throw them away for one bad day. 3. Believe the pattern, not the promise. When someone says, "I'll change," ask yourself, have they changed anything before? When someone says, "I'm different now," ask, what is consistently different over time?
This is where many people get trapped. They fall in love with potential, not patterns. They fall in love with what could be, not what is. Potential is unlimited. Patterns are real. You must choose. Will you build your life on daydreams or data? Most people are so desperate for hope that they ignore the evidence in front of them. You must be strong enough to see what is true even when it hurts. Reading people like a book means you turn your attention to what they keep doing, not just what they sometimes do. From today, tell yourself, I will not let one good moment erase years of bad behavior. I will not let one bad moment erase years of good behavior. You are not easily fooled anymore. You see the story over time. Chapter 6. Learn to spot red flags without denial. If you read people well but ignore the warning signs, what is the point? A red flag is a sign that says, be careful. Something is wrong here. Most people see red flags and turn them into decorations. They call them complicated, misunderstood, or not that serious. Then they suffer. Then they say, I didn't know. But deep down, they did. To read people like a book, you must train yourself to respect red flags. Here are some powerful red flags you must not ignore. 1. Disrespect for boundaries. When someone ignores your no, laughs at your limits, or pressures you to do what you don't want, that's not a small issue. It shows a mindset. My needs are more important than your comfort. 2. Blame shifting and no responsibility. When someone never says, I was wrong, but always finds a way to make it your fault or someone else's fault, that is a dangerous pattern. You cannot build trust with a person who never owns their behavior. 3. Double life behavior. When someone acts kind in public, but cruel in private. Respectful to authority, but disrespectful to lower people. Polished online, but messy in reality. This split is a major red flag. It shows lack of integrity. 4. Extreme jealousy and control. When someone tries to control where you go, who you see, what you do, under the name of love or care, that is not love. It is insecurity and fear looking for power. 5. Lack of empathy. When you see you're hurting and feel nothing. When they do harm and seem unbothered. When your feelings are always too much or dramatic, that is a sign your emotional safety is not important to them. Here's the hard part. Red flags often appear early, but we choose not to see them. Why? Because we want connection. We want attention. We want the comfort of having someone, even if they are not good for us. You must decide, do you want truth or comfort? You cannot have both all the time. Practical approach to red flags. 1. Make your own list of non-negotiables. Write down 3 to 5 behaviors you will not tolerate in your close circle. For example, lying, disrespect, manipulation, constant negativity. This is your personal standard. 2. When you see a red flag, do not argue with it. Don't say, but they're nice sometimes. Don't say, but they had a hard childhood. You can have empathy without giving someone full access to your life. 3. Create distance early. When you feel something is off, step back. You do not need to cut them off aggressively, but you can slow down your trust, your time, your access. Reading people is useless if you don't act on what you read. Wisdom is knowing. Power is using that knowledge. Most people see red flags and hope they turn green. You are different. You learn to say, I see this clearly, and I will not pretend I don't. That's how you protect your future.
Chapter 7. See the wounds behind the behavior. If you only see what people do and never ask why, you will become cold and bitter. You will see everyone as a villain or a victim. You will lose your compassion. To truly read people like a book, you must understand this. Every behavior has a story behind it. Anger often hides pain. Arrogance often hides insecurity. Control often hides fear. Distance often hides past betrayal. This does not excuse bad behavior, but it explains it. When you understand this, you become wise and balanced. You can protect yourself and still keep your heart soft. Here's how to see the wounds behind the behavior. 1. Listen to how they talk about their past. People give you clues. Everyone always leaves me. I don't trust anyone. I had to take care of myself from a young age. These phrases reveal old wounds: abandonment, betrayal, neglect. 2. Notice overreactions. When a reaction is much bigger than the situation, it usually touches a wound. For example, a small criticism triggers huge anger. That person might carry deep shame and fear of not being good enough. 3. Separate the human from the behavior. You can think, this behavior is dangerous for me, but I understand it comes from their pain. You can choose distance without hatred. Why is this important for you? Because when you see wounds, you stop taking everything personally. If someone lies to you, it may not be because you are unworthy of truth. It may be because they are afraid of conflict or rejection. If someone pulls away, it may not be because you are boring. It may be because they learned that closeness equals pain. Again, this does not mean you accept the behavior. You still must protect yourself. You still must set boundaries. You still must decide who gets access to you. But you do it from a place of clarity, not revenge. You say, I see you, I understand you, and I still choose what is healthy for me. Practical stance. When you see a negative pattern, ask yourself quietly, what kind of story would create this? It trains your empathy. Remember, some people are aware of their wounds and are working on them. Others are not. People who take responsibility for healing are safer than people who use their wounds as weapons. Most people either excuse everything, they had a hard life, or hate everything, they're just terrible. You must stand in the middle. Understanding plus boundaries. Compassion plus clarity. This is how you become emotionally intelligent, not emotionally blind. Reading people like a book is not just about spotting danger. It's also about seeing the child inside the adult, the fear inside the anger, the hurt inside the pride. You do not have to fix them, but you can understand them. And understanding is power. Chapter 8. Read yourself first. You are also a book. There is one person you must learn to read better than anyone else: yourself. Most people want to understand others, but they don't even understand their own patterns. They ask, why do people treat me like this? But they never ask, what am I allowing? What am I signaling? You are sending signals all the time too. Through your boundaries, through your reactions, through what you tolerate, through what you laugh off, through what you stay silent about. If you want to read people like a book, start with your own pages. Ask yourself, what patterns do I repeat in relationships? Do I choose similar people again and again? Do I stay too long when things are clearly wrong? Do I ignore my own feelings to keep peace? These are not comfortable questions, but you need them. Because here is the truth. You train people how to treat you. If you always forgive without change, you train them that are no consequences. If you never speak up when you're hurt, you train them that your feelings don't matter.
If you keep chasing those who pull away, you train them that they can disrespect you and still keep you. This is not about blame. This is about responsibility. Reading yourself means you see your own wounds, your own fears, your own denial. You see where you abandon yourself. Practical self-reading. 1. Track your emotional reactions. When you feel angry, jealous, hurt, or rejected, pause and ask, what did this moment remind me of? Have I felt this many times before? That pattern shows you a wound that needs attention. 2. Watch your automatic yes. In what situations do you say yes when you want to say no? With who? Why? Often, this shows fear of rejection or desire for approval. 3. Look at your circle. The kind of people you keep attracting and keeping tells you about you. If your circle is full of drama, there is something in you that is used to chaos. If your circle is full of users, there is something in you that does not feel worthy of equal give and take. When you start to read yourself, you change the story. You raise your standards. You heal your own wounds. You become clearer, calmer, stronger. And then something powerful happens. The way you read others improves automatically. Because when you stop lying to yourself, you stop accepting lies from others. When you know your own patterns, you spot similar patterns in others faster. When you respect your own boundaries, you notice who respects them too. Most people want to read people to control them. You're not doing that. You are learning to read people to protect your peace, build healthy connections, and choose wisely. But it starts with you. You're not just a reader. You are also a book being read. Decide what kind of story you want your life to tell. Then live in a way that matches that story.
Chapter 9. Read people in work, business, and daily life. Reading people is not only for relationships and friendships. It is a powerful skill in work and business. Every day you deal with coworkers, managers, clients, customers, partners. Some are honest. Some are lazy. Some are ambitious. Some are manipulative. If you cannot read them, you will waste years in the wrong places with the wrong people. Here's how to apply this skill in your professional life. 1. Notice work ethic, not talk about ambition. Almost everyone says they want success, promotion, growth. But who actually does the work? Look for who shows up on time, who finishes what they start, who owns their mistakes instead of hiding them, who looks for solutions instead of only complaining. These people have strong patterns. They are valuable allies. 2. Watch how leaders treat those below them. A person in power who humiliates, talks down, or insults is showing you their character. Even if they are nice to you now, remember, power reveals people. If they abuse power with others, they can do it to you when it suits them. 3. Pay attention in negotiations and deals. In business, people will promise anything to close a deal. Don't just listen to what they offer. Look at their past reputation, how they talk about former partners or clients, whether they respect agreements in small things. If they break small agreements, do you really want to trust them with big ones? 4. Spot energy drainers. In any workplace, there are people who spread negativity, gossip, and drama. They complain about everything but change nothing. They look busy but produce little. Reading them correctly helps you keep emotional distance. You can be polite without letting their energy control your mood. Practical steps. In your job or business, choose 3 people you interact with the most. For each one, ask, are they consistent or unpredictable?
Are they honest or do they twist facts? Are they cooperative or always focused only on themselves? Let these answers guide how much you share, how much you rely on them, and what you expect. Before trusting someone with an important task, test them with smaller responsibilities. See how they handle it. Do they deliver on time? Do they communicate well? Do they handle pressure? Their behavior in small tests predicts their behavior in bigger ones. Most people let their need for quick success blind them. They rush into partnerships. They trust big words like, "We're a family here," or "We'll take care of you." You must be smarter. You check behavior. You check history. You watch patterns. This does not mean you walk around paranoid. It means you walk around awake. When you can read people in work and business, you avoid toxic teams. You choose the right mentors. You build strong, honest networks. You protect your time and energy from those who will waste it. You become the person who sees what others miss. Chapter 10. Practice deep listening and better questions. To read people like a book, you must stop talking so much and start truly listening. Most people are not listening. They are just waiting for their turn to speak. They hear a few words, then jump in with their own story, opinion, or advice. When you do that, you miss important information. You miss what the person is really telling you. Deep listening is a superpower. It makes people feel safe, and when people feel safe, they reveal themselves. Here is how to practice it. 1. Be fully present. Put the phone away, stop half listening while you think about something else. Look at the person. Pay attention to their face, their tone, their pauses. 2. Ask open questions. Instead of "Are you okay?" which can be answered with yes or no, ask, "How have you been really feeling?" Or, "What's been the hardest part for you lately?" Or, "What do you wish people understood about you right now?" These questions open doors. They show you what is inside. 3. Use reflection. After they speak, say in your own words what you heard. "It sounds like you feel ignored when that happens." Or, "So you're saying you feel stuck in this situation." This does two things. It helps you check if you understood correctly. It shows them you are actually listening. 4. Notice what they avoid. Sometimes what people don't say is as important as what they say. If they quickly change the subject every time a specific topic comes up, that area is sensitive. It reveals fear, pain, or something they are hiding. 5. Stay curious, not controlling. Your goal is not to force them to reveal everything. Your goal is to understand enough to see their patterns, their wounds, their values. Deep listening also helps you see who is safe and who is not. Safe people will also listen to you. They will not always bring the conversation back to themselves. They will not punish you for being honest. Unsafe people will turn your honesty against you later. They will dismiss your feelings. They will use your vulnerabilities as weapons. When you listen deeply and share carefully, you quickly discover the difference. Most people never develop this skill. They think reading people is about tricks, manipulation, or mind games. In reality, it is about attention and intention. Are you truly paying attention? Is your intention to understand or control? Your power comes from understanding, from seeing clearly, from listening to what is said and unsaid. Practical challenge. For the next 7 days, choose one conversation every day where you practice deep listening. No distractions, ask open questions, reflect back what you hear. Notice their body language, their emotion, their patterns. You will be shocked at how much people reveal when they feel heard. Most people will never do this. They are too busy talking. You will, and it will change how you see everyone around you.
You have learned something powerful. People are not that mysterious. They are speaking all the time, through words, actions, emotions, and patterns. You now know words are cheap. Actions tell the real story. Emotions leak through tone, body, and reactions. Patterns over time reveal the truth. Red flags must be respected, not explained away. Behind behavior, there are wounds and fears. You must read yourself first because you are also a book. Deep listening and better questions open people up. Now, you have to decide what you will do with this. You can go back to living like before, ignoring your intuition, believing empty promises, hoping people will change without evidence. Or you can choose a new standard. You can decide that from today, you will trust patterns, not fantasies. You will protect your peace by respecting red flags. You will raise your standards for how people treat you. You will work on your own wounds and patterns too. Here is your challenge. Tonight, choose one important relationship in your life. Be brutally honest with yourself. What have their actions, emotions, and patterns really been saying? What have you refused to see? Write it down. Then write one decision you will no longer postpone about this relationship. If this audio helped you see yourself and others more clearly, share one promise you're making to yourself today in the comments. Claim it in writing. Speak it into your future. And if you want more long, deep motivational audios and self-growth sessions like this, subscribe and stay connected. Keep training your mind. Keep sharpening your perception. You don't have to stay blind. You don't have to repeat the same mistakes. You can learn to read people like a book, and your whole life can change the moment you decide to see the truth.